some of my experience here includes Kaiser. I've been chief product officer, chief technology officers of many different startups, large health insurance payers like HealthNet, Optum. So I've seen pretty much a lot of the healthcare provider, payer, mental health related stuff. So, well, I think this is what healthcare does, right? So I think Dr. Bruce talked about this quite a bit. So we are in the space where we do a lot of observation. So if you think about the clinician, right? They analyze, they detect, they image, they diagnose, they model and simulate, they plan, they prevent, they monitor. That is what they do. These are just the clinical activities, right? So Dr. Bruce also mentioned and alluded to, we also do a lot of administrative and financial and workflows and processes. Those are part of healthcare. Okay, so don't forget when you're looking for ideas and trying to solve things with quantum, you also can solve those kind of things, right? I want to give you a brief overview as to what the heck does the healthcare landscape look like, right? So we have lots of systems and data. You know, you've heard of the word legacy systems? We have many of those, okay? We do things by, individual versus population care. We're moving towards more of an individual care. Right now, we look at you as like a population. You know, you're in the same bucket of this kind of disease. We have a lot of equipments and devices. We're getting into a little bit of personalization. We have a lot of misdiagnosis sometimes, just because we just can't collate enough of this kind of stuff. And you could see we have so many different things in the healthcare environment that makes it kind of complex. Same thing, 30% of the world's data is healthcare data. 36% are CAGR. Some more stats. 310 million surgeries each year, and that contains a lot of data. 2 million different kinds of medical devices. 154 million wearable devices shipped in 2020. 7 billion clinical lab tests each year in the US, and that's the US alone. So if you thought other industries had a lot of data, you haven't gone to the healthcare side of things yet, right? So this is what healthcare data features look like. So it's confidential. So we have a lot of need for confidentiality. It's time-oriented, longitudinal, structured and unstructured, complex, and it's also very important because it has to deal with your health. And so the 5 V's of big data is volume, value, variety, velocity, veracity. We have all that, okay? Many data types: video data, voice data, OCR data, genome data, MRIs, electronic medical record, user and system-generated data. So data. So this is what we need. So we need innovative and new categories of solutions that we've never seen before. Okay, we need non-invasive and less invasive solutions, and I think quantum has that potential. Something that can lead to faster and earlier diagnosis. A lot of sensors, sensitivity. Calling out somebody from the audience there who presented Fieldline about their brain sensors. We also need solutions in the administrative, financial, and support services side. This one I wanted to show you because, when people ask me, okay, Nardo, where can I get funding, for my quantum company? If you're in quantum and healthcare, not only can you get funding from me, you can also look into the healthcare VC side of things, right? So the healthcare VC side of things, you can see there's a lot of money in the healthcare side. Okay, because we want to solve a lot of these big complex problems. So investment in healthcare is quite large. So where does quantum technologies apply in healthcare? I'm gonna go through a whole bunch of different ideas here. My main talk is just to give you guys ideas as to where quantum can apply. Okay. Who's confident that their data is secure from a healthcare standpoint? One person? Okay, we need this. Okay, we need this. And this is why. So we need post-quantum cryptography because healthcare is the #1 most breached industry in the US. Okay? So just on that alone, you could become a PQC company, go for healthcare. We need biomedical image quality and classification. Merlin talked about that, right, a little bit. We need diagnostic assistance. Our clinicians are burdened with so much information. It's really overloading. How do you collate all of these things coming in and then eventually say, this is what is the needed thing that I need to do? Precision medicine, right? So the whole thing about personalization is something that we need. We cannot do this at scale right now because of the amount of data that we need to process. Here's an example. Anthem has been working on this project for a good 5 years, and they're looking into changing the patient experience using predictive analytics with quantum computing. So pricing optimization. Who loves their healthcare premium? Okay, well, there we go. We need help in that area too. Okay. In silico clinical trials. So what this means is, Dr. Bruce mentioned something about digital twins, right? So what if we can do clinical trials using just data instead of real human beings, right? So as the first stage. So you could do that using quantum. I just want to give you a website. This website pretty much gives you a lot of physiological data that you could download so you could create quantum algorithms. And in conjunction with the Mayo data set, right, pair it together, and then basically you could do quite a bit of thing there. Rapid drug design. Here's a company that's kind of doing that right now, right? Polaris QB. They're working with biotech companies and pharma companies, basically accelerating drug design. DNA sequencing and analysis, predictive analytics, clinical decision support. Okay, I want to show you this one. So healthcare from a resource perspective is, I guess we don't have enough human resources to deal with the healthcare problems. Look, COVID is up again, right? So now we're dealing with that, we're overburdened. So hopefully quantum and AI can help with something like this.
You had 5 asthma attacks last week, David. What's going on?
Not feeling well. I got a cold starting. Had to go to Barstow twice for work.
Barstow's nice and dry. What's your asthma keeping you from doing?
Yeah, well, normal life for starters. Like walk upstairs, play with the kids, go see a movie.
Okay, well, here's some weather for you, and I can't say it's nice out. Your neighborhood AQI is 160, humidity's down, and particulate matter's up, so you'll have a 65% increased risk of an attack today. You got some popcorn in the house?
Sure, I get it. Not going out today.
Right, and keep your Advair inhaler nearby.
Okay, every 2 hours I take 1 shot, right?
That's it. You want me to remind you when you need to take it?
Send me an SMS.
Okay, talk with you soon.
Okay, right, so if you take a look at that technology, we need more of that, right? So how can we deliver something like that? This is a project I worked on 7 years ago. Okay, it's hard, it's hard to put it together. You have an AI system, you're trying to mimic a human inside of a character, you're trying to look at the person's emotions, you're trying to look at the language and the sentences being provided there, and you're trying to respond from a real-time perspective, right? I told you, this is a hard thing to do, and the only way we could do this is to actually pair up quantum and AI together into something like this. And then there's this new field called quantum biology. So quantum biology is basically, how can you apply quantum, looking at our biological systems and mimicking the biological systems with these quantum systems. This is a new field. So this one is being explored quite widely in UCLA. So if there's an interest there, definitely talk to me. And then I'll go into a lot more ideas on the quantum sensing side. So quantum sensing, pretty much using quantum systems for high precision measurement of physical qualities. Okay, so quantum sensing is good for bioimaging, spectroscopy, communication, navigation, environmental monitoring, infrastructure, geographical surveying, and fundamental science. So these are next level generation sensors that are more sensitive and more precise than our current sensors. So what can you measure? These are some of the things. Rotation, electrical field, magnetic field, temperature, pressure, acceleration. And I think you can also look at it from an atomic clock perspective as well. Market size for sensors are big, right? So the global sensor market size was valued at 167 billion in 2019. And I think all of that will become quantum sensors. So that's how big that market size is. Okay, take a picture of this one. So here's a lot of ideas on the quantum sensing side that I'm wishing someone here is going to develop, right? So things in, I can't even pronounce the first one. How do you say it, Orang? Okay, there we go. That's his company. Disease detection, medical imaging, radiation detection, DNA sequencing, surgical planning, new medical devices and wearables, RPM, drug tracking, drug detection, tumor demarcation, particle movement, blood flow analysis, dose monitoring, micro movement detection. That's a lot of things to develop. We have a lot of stuff in pharma, but we should have a lot more in the healthcare side. But here's the reality too, right? So the reality here is we have a lot of challenges. FDA compliance and approval, industry adoption. How can we get the Mayo Clinics of the world, the Kaiser Permanentes to adopt technology like this? So it's system transition. So what that is, from a people, process, systems, technology, services, how am I going to transition from my existing workflow and my existing things, the way I'm doing things, into this new way of doing things? So that's a big deal because how to displace an existing legacy system takes quite a bit of effort. So you need to know how to do that. They're going to have to build new clinical and care protocols because now quantum is involved. Then from a perspective of how does that fit within a physician workflow? How does that impact? Does it make it better? Does it make it longer? Does it make it shorter? We're going to have to look at patient and device safety as well. Clinical care standard upgrade. We're going to see some data we've never seen before, right? So what does that mean, right? So now we're going to have processing capabilities on insights that even our physicians have never seen before. So what do you do with that? So we need a lot more translational medicine type of capability. And it's reverse translation. Now the system is telling us they're finding something. Us humans need to validate what the heck that is, right? That's going to keep a lot of doctors gainfully employed. And then HIPAA compliance, typical standard stuff that we need to do. And then, of course, things need to change. Our infrastructure, our data analytics, our data management tools are going to change. So quantum technologies and computing will transform healthcare on a level we have never seen before. And hopefully, you're all part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nardo. We have a couple minutes for questions.
That was really fantastic. Do you have some immediate applications that you can think of where quantum computing at its current capability is able to start showing some proof points here?
That is such a part. There is one person that I'd like to have that person answer that. Taposh. That is a perfect question.
I'll repeat the question. The question is something that can show immediate answers to in healthcare domain. So one thing that we can use is quantum computing for causality, quantum causality, which is basically explaining the reason why something is happening. Today, the predictive models that you use are basically correlation dependent. The best in class may be Shapley, and people here might know that. But with quantum computing, you can use more algorithms, and I can go into some detail of that, where you can explain to the reason why there is a dependency between a couple of different things. So quantum causality is an area which can definitely work right now, and its algorithms are available. FGS algorithms are rightly available. We can use that right away. Thank you, Nardo.
Okay, thanks, Taposh. And then Orang, talk about your quantum sensor.
Well, it's not exactly quantum computing, but we are using quantum mechanics and quantum systems to build electromagnetic fields at a level that wasn't possible. And by doing that, we can measure neurological activity better than we've ever been able to. So now we can go deeper and better into the nervous system because that active or passive.
See, these things exist now, right? So, as time, over time, these things will get better. We'll get into a non-hybrid, maybe more of a pure quantum approach. But what you need to consider is more of a hybrid approach of classical and quantum computing.